Hey everyone, this is the first episode of Sonny Side Up Radio, and this is my co-host Rachel.
Hey.
Hey. And we are talking to Ace Enders from the Early November. He is gracing us with his presence today.
Oh, yes.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Where did you come here from today?
It's been a journey. Today has been a journey for me. I hail from South Jersey.
Okay.
So it's a trek, but I always enjoy coming to the city. I had a jam-packed day today. It was excitement from start till now.
And now, we're finishing
What'd
with
you do all
excitement.
day? Did you come direct from
Do you want me to give
South
you
Jersey?
the whole
Yeah.
rundown?
Why not?
Yeah.
Is
do
that
it.
really what? Okay.
What's the day like?
Okay, so a day for me is like, let's see, my alarm goes off around 4:08 a.m.
Exactly.
I
okay.
woke up at 4. Yeah, it's weird timing. I know. I just can't do 4 o'clock because I
No.
feel like that's too early. But 4:15, I'm slacking. So 4:08
Okay.
seems just about right for me. And then I do this thing where I clean parking lots because people are, they leave a lot of trash. I was
Yeah.
actually, my grandfather, he passed. He did it. He cleaned parking lots. That was his thing.
Yeah.
So a couple family members decided to carry his legacy. So I get up early, 4:30, cleaning people's trash. Then
Wow.
That's sweet.
take the kids to school, hit the gym. We unpacked a storage unit all day and then repacked it in another storage unit
Damn.
Ooh.
and then hopped on the train and came here.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
That's nice, the cleaning up parking lots thing.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah.
It's
I can't
gross.
imagine.
You
You gotta wear
find all
some
sorts of weird
Oh
gloves.
man.
stuff. Yeah,
I don't want to know.
you do have to wear gloves.
Yeah.
I
for
wear
sure.
boots too because I'm like,
You don't know what you're gonna step on.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to say happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Is
You
it
turn-
I
today?
appreciate that. No, it's last week.
Oh.
You
Last
turned
week.
40.
I did.
Big date.
It was a milestone.
What'd you do?
What did I do?
Yeah.
Well, my family surprised me with a wonderful surprise party, so it was nice.
Wow.
But other than that, I worked.
Yeah.
I just did
Speaking
the
of
normal
surprises.
thing.
Oh gosh, surprise! I actually
I
don't
got
know
a
what
little
this
something.
is.
I didn't show you either.
Yeah.
I got a little something for you for just some art for your studio. If you
Oh,
want to
man.
open it up.
I can open it now.
Yeah, I opened it a little bit so it wouldn't be so hard.
It's a late birthday gift.
This is very, very exciting. Very exciting.
ASMR.
I think you might like it.
I can't wait. I'll be honest. This is an excellent tape job. Whoever did this should work for FedEx. Make it away from the mic. Away from. This is what I think it is. This is. It's actually awesome.
I simplified it
So awesome.
so it could look nicer on
Wow, art direction by Sonny.
That is actually fantastic.
Okay,
Oh my
I
God, this
I
is
gotta
going
be,
up tomorrow.
I
I'm
gotta
not
be
even, not even joking
honest.
with you.
This is the first time I heard of the early November because obviously I look at all of Sonny's posts and I would say I'm familiar with that era and genre of music, but I had never heard of y'all
Yeah.
until he made that post.
It's a crime.
I'm
It
just,
really
I mean,
is.
it's fucked up.
honestly I post a lot of Blink-182 memes and a lot of more the popular stuff. And when I posted that on Twitter originally, and I didn't think it was I love Early November and I think they're one of my favorite bands, but I didn't think everyone my following would know you guys. And then it started picking up on Twitter, and then I posted it on Instagram and it got a lot more likes than a normal post gets. So that just tells me that my followers know you. And
Yeah, and that's even though I wasn't familiar when I saw the response, I was like, "Oh, what is this?" It's obviously resonating with a bunch of people. Let me check it out.
yeah, I was like,
Here we are.
the reason why I made that meme, I was literally just I was, when you go oh, I miss this band, let me just go on YouTube and just watch some live videos. So I was going deep, and then I was watching a bunch of videos, and then I saw someone post that picture, and I was like, wow, that really looks like the Early November. Then I was just Early November appreciation post,
Sick.
So awesome. Actually, I remember waking up that morning and Jeff, our drummer, sent it to me. And he's like, "Did you see this?" I'm like, "That's wonderful. That is really, really wonderful." It's been years since Superbad came out. I remember being at shows and people have called me Michael Cera for
Really?
since that movie came out.
That's
It's-
hilarious.
Wow. Great assumption. Great observation you made.
Yeah,
You did-
and
you
it
did
also it fits well because obviously I was there's always a risk where you might offend someone. I was hoping it wouldn't offend anyone in the band, but I feel like it looks perfect because it looks like they're coming out of a tour bus maybe.
It really
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
It's perfect.
It's
I
like
gotta
a-
rewatch
yeah.
that movie.
Yeah,
I did rewatch it actually since then because I was like, same exact thing. I need to rewatch that movie, and I'm like, this is bad. I was like, maybe my kids will dig it.
it didn't
They're like,
hold up.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's not appropriate. As a father,
yeah.
I'm like,
Wait,
this
how
is
old,
inappropriate.
how old are your kids, if you don't mind?
Well, my kids are 12 and 10.
Yeah, not quite super bad.
Not quite
age.
super bad. And even if they were, I'd be like,
You don't want to be the one to show them.
no.
No.
They got to watch. They got to find that on
Find
their
that
own.
at like
like,
a
yeah.
sleepover.
like American Pie.
Yeah,
Ex-
exactly.
If you watch that, that's like that's like American. I feel like Superbad's like the new American Pie.
yeah.
For sure.
But if you watch
Absolutely.
American Pie, like the jokes are like 100 times
Yeah.
more like
Yeah.
offensive, and you're like,
It's crazy.
My dad is a preacher, so I wasn't allowed, just from a parenting note, I wasn't allowed to watch like PG-13 or R basically until I was out of the house. So,
Yeah.
but you find it. You figure
Yeah,
you have a
yeah.
sleepover and somebody's watching Austin Powers, and you're like, whole world is changed.
Yeah. It truly is. I never really had any type of. They were like, it was the opposite for me.
Yeah.
It was like, here's a box of movies. Some of them are rated R. There's going to be nudity, and there's going to be weird stuff.
Yeah, I was so restricted.
yeah.
Yeah.
My parents are both not from America, so it was kind of like it was just like we don't know, whatever, just watch it.
Yeah, like what are you watching?
We don't know what that is. Like I didn't grow up with like Seinfeld on. I just watched Seinfeld for the first time like
Dope show.
3 months ago. I watched it all the way through,
Oh my god.
but I didn't like. A lot of people like grew up with it like in their background. I don't know.
Yeah.
I never really did. I guess my parents didn't like get the humor.
So many amazing takeaways from that show.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's probably one of the best shows ever.
Definitely is. We're actually watching it with the kids now because we figure like they need to see that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, there's
They
some
get it?
adult themes, but yeah, they love it. They,
But I feel like everything adult on Seinfeld is like pretty implied.
yeah,
Like it's not in your
right.
face.
It's not so like on the nose.
They weren't
Yeah.
able to really say things
Yeah.
that you can say now.
Times were different.
I
Yeah.
just watched a few episodes of it recently, and there's one where there's like, maybe you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a guy who's like an agent for the public library, Mr. Bookman. Oh man, it
didn't
was
get
just
there
so.
yet.
I'm not gonna recount it because nobody wants to listen to that on a podcast. But yeah, there's some stuff that really holds up.
What is it again? What are we talking about?
What? What do you mean? How did we get here?
Yeah.
We're talking about parenting, I think.
Oh wow. Rough subject. So I was actually looking at YouTube yesterday, and I noticed you guys made a YouTube channel, and you uploaded the "I Want to Hear You Sad" video.
Yes.
And that video, let me tell you, I've been watching that video for years, and I've never seen it full quality like that.
Yeah.
And seeing it full quality, it just makes it like so much better. It's such a good video.
That's why we did it. That's why we made the channel, just because it's been floating around, and we've never owned like the people who have been posting that video since like
Yeah.
2003, and like some of them like have tons of
Tons of views.
views, and it's like that's like the story of our career. You know, is like somebody else is
Cashing
collecting
in.
something. But Jeff works at NBC full time, so like when he's not rocking, he is
Doing
doing
the
like, socials and doing like production for NBC.
Oh,
so he's
awesome.
like super into that high quality, like super.
Yeah.
He's like, we have to put this up there so people see it how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and even though it's high quality, it's still like that was probably like the first music video I ever saw from you guys. So when the first time I saw it, it just felt so vintage. It had like a film feel to it,
Yeah,
you know?
it was shot on Super 8.
Oh,
So it was
sick.
like
What year
really-
was this?
This was 2002ish, 3.
Wow,
It's
nice.
in that ballpark.
Yeah.
2. Let's just say 2. Why not? I mean, it's a good, no 3. Never mind.
And
2003.
did you film that after the song was out already or
Yeah.
before?
We did. We filmed it after the song came out, and it was like right as it was actually we filmed it after we recorded "The Room's Too Cold," so we didn't actually make a video until we were well into off the
wow.
cycle.
Damn.
Yeah, it was like we had such a crazy year that year. It was like nonstop touring, and finally got a break, made the video, and it didn't matter at that point. Things were so different. You found out about information so much slower.
Yeah.
So it's like people would see that video in like Nordstrom or like the mall, or like that's where you would see it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't like then there was no YouTube to instantly like be
Yeah.
like, here it is, or like a service to push it out really.
Yeah.
Delayed
it-
gratification.
Yeah, so it wasn't, if you weren't on MTV, it didn't really matter.
Or if you didn't have the drive-through records DVD.
Sure, if you exactly.
'Cause
So,
I had
like,
those.
during that era, making a music video wasn't really expected if you weren't signed to a major label.
It wasn't as much of a necessity as it is
Yeah.
right now.
It was more like a passion project, I guess.
Well, sort of.
Yeah.
I think it's more like when you get to it, you get to it.
Yeah.
Like if we make a video, that'll be for this song, and
Yeah.
it's like because there was just not a real purpose unless you were getting it for sure placed somewhere.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right, it wasn't YouTube, so it's like,
Right.
what's the point of doing this whole thing if no one's gonna
Right.
even air it?
That's
Yeah.
so cool that it was Super 8.
Yeah. It was.
Who
it
did
was-
that, Jeff?
No, the Super 8. We had it's actually a funny story. The guy who made the video, he came. He was from like Chicago or LA, something like that. He's a video guy, right? But this is my first experience with a video guy.
Yeah.
So I saw this video that I knew I didn't want it to look like. Okay, let's just call it. I'm not going to name the band.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say Video A. Okay.
Is it The
Awesome.
Middle by Jimmy Eat World?
I wish. Let's call it Awesome Video. And I was like, we were sitting down having a meeting in a diner. I was like, look, we can do this. This is what we can't do. I'm like, you can do whatever you want as long as it doesn't look like this video, which I hate and I think they did a terrible job on. He looked straight at me in the eyes. He's like, I did that video. And I'm like, that's what's up. That's what's up. I'm like, how can you even come back from that? It was.
How did you come back from that?
I was just like, it's cool though. The ideas are there.
Right.
It's just not that style.
God.
Completely opposite of that.
Yeah.
And how old were you at this time?
I was probably 21.
And you were 21 when you recorded Rooms Too Cold?
Room's Too Cold, yeah.
Right here.
That's it.
Still got it.
Look at that. That's
check it
the original copy right there.
Yep.
He's an old head.
It's all
OG.
worn in.
That is so worn in. It is. I bet it plays silky smooth
Oh, yeah.
on
Before
that compact disc. That's awesome. I actually haven't seen an actual. This is
I got more of them if you want.
legit.
He's got a stack.
2003.
This one's got
yeah.
a little surprise inside.
My goodness. Look at that. A signature.
what?
Man
Whose
alive.
signature is that?
We got, looks like me, and I don't know who that is. That's me again. They're both me.
They're
Never
both
mind.
No
you.
way.
Never mind.
From 2 different times.
2 different times.
This
That's
was,
awesome.
I think that was 2004 Warped Tour.
Yeah.
Did you play acoustic that, or was that full band?
That was full band.
Word.
So 2004, yeah, Warped Tour, we were on main stage that year.
Yeah.
It was like
Sick.
a really cool year. And that's funny.
Where
Yeah,
did
2
you?
versions.
What Warped Tour did you go to? Like where?
I started first going to Asbury Parks, and then I think in 2004 it switched to Englishtown Raceway,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But my first one was 2002 Asbury Park. That was like with like the Used and like Less Than Jake.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
And did you guys play 2002?
yeah, we
you did,
did.
right? Asbury Park.
Asbury Park.
Yeah, I saw some footage of that too.
Yeah.
I think I also saw you guys that convention hall show.
Right, the Skate and Surf
Yeah.
at Convention Hall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Skate and
That was
surf.
like a legendary show.
Yeah.
I mean, it was before Rooms Too Cold, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And that
yeah.
was legendary when they broke down the barricade. That
Yeah.
was wild.
And let all the fans up.
Well, no, they had some issue. I don't know what it was. We opened the show, but we were from New Jersey,
Yeah.
and there was thousands of people, and we were clicking at the time. You know, you get those exciting moments, but they had, for some reason, there was some rule that they had to put the barricade like 30 to 50 feet off the stage.
Jeez.
So there was this big space,
Mhm.
and like somewhere in the middle of the set, like we were playing a song where everybody was going crazy. They just crashed through the barricade, like pushed all the security and rushed the stage. We had to stop the show, but it was
Yeah.
an awesome
Exciting,
moment. Yeah.
for sure.
yeah. I also saw you guys at the CMJ. No, was it the CMJ Drive-Thru Records at Avalon?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you also played.
Mess that I did. Yeah, I did both that day.
Yeah.
I remember it. Look at this. Now we got one of these.
Yeah, I
this
bought
your
that
solo?
right when it came
Also,
out. I was in.
This is my first solo thing. Yeah,
Yeah, this is the
Wild.
first
The
solo
original.
project.
the original.
Now it's shortened to I Can Make a Mess.
Can I see?
Yeah, it's too confusing. I might go back to that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have a record coming out sometime soon. So
yeah. I really liked. I mean, I love all your stuff, obviously, but when that one came out, that was like so different than anything I've ever heard. I felt like it was like a more country.
for the time, yeah, it was very different.
Yeah. Now I don't know. I don't really listen to country, so I don't know. But I knew that the particular song. Sorry, is that bad?
No, I listen to some country music.
One song on there I wanted to ask about is Whispering.
Yeah.
So like most of your music is written with a guitar and you singing, and so how does a song like that come along?
Excellent question.
Because it's
It
like
doesn't have any guitar.
when
No.
I mean it doesn't have guitar. I thought it had a guitar, but I just can't notice it. But it's just like all strings and orchestra. So
Nice.
did you like write out the notes, or did you like play them in like how did that
I played it
happen?
on keys. It was just like, I think we were in studio, and it wasn't originally going to be on the record. It was a song written in the studio. So I was just messing around on the keyboard one day and played the line, and then laid
And then
this
you sang.
crazy beat over it, and we were like, let's just make something really weird. It ended up being one of my favorite songs on the album. I
Ugh,
think.
beautiful song.
Do you,
That's my favorite song on the album for sure.
Did you like create the arrangement, or was it real strings, or?
That song, I believe there was real strings on it, but
Yeah.
the original was played with like just these really
Cynthia.
weird dark tones on like a fake.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was I remember like just really crusty, fake sounding thing. Technology has since improved much, but it's really cool for the song, and it was really cool to layer real strings with it and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, I think this album, "Room's Too Cold."
Mm-hmm.
This album, when I listen to other albums from this time, they really don't sound as good as this sounds.
That's a
Like I was listening
a weird
to,
one.
I mean, not as good as like I was listening to like Thrice, The Artist in the Ambulance. I would consider that like around the equal like time that this came out, you know?
Yeah.
And everything is like so clean and like you can hear every beat is so like syncopated and it's just like there's no way like a human can play that. I mean, I love the music. It's so like good and intense. But like when I listen to this, there's so much feel and like so much I don't know.
Well, we did something different on that album. Like at the time, music was changing,
Mhm.
and we really wanted to. I was crazy when I was younger. I wanted to not even use tuners on it. I'm like nothing.
Just
like,
super raw.
raw.
And how'd you
It's
play it
to
live if
tape.
you didn't have tuners?
Well, I wanted to use a tuner live, but for the record, I remember actually saying to the producer, like, look, if we can't tune it by ear, then we don't deserve to be doing this
Right.
at this point. You know, I don't deserve to have a record deal. But we did end up using tuners, thankfully, but made everybody's life way easier.
yeah.
But still, it was like the whole thing was very raw, not in no computer, anything.
And you and Chris Badami?
Yeah, like I
mean, I see like
hammered it out with him.
you guys worked on everything together pretty much.
Yep. Yep.
That's amazing. And also the songs on this album, they're like one song can sound like a completely different band, but for some reason they all work so well together.
It like stays
on this-
cohesive.
Yeah, on this album. I think it's because of the sound or like the choices that you made to record it.
Yeah.
Because I hear a lot of like it's like at the end of let's say Everything's Too Cold. I don't even know what's happening, but it just sounds like bookshelves like falling down. It sounds like an earthquake happening.
It is very bizarre.
But
Do you
in the beginning,
Remember what you sampled for that?
No
The
samples.
but like the cacophony, you guys
I
just made
threw
it.
headphones on the ground and broke them. I was in a very a passionate state as a young child, and I remember breaking the headphones and being like, I shouldn't have broke those headphones after. But I was lost in the moment, you know.
Yeah.
And that I think that record is cool and special to me because it, like I said, it was like I was in a headspace. I was very much, this should be raw. This should be real sounding.
I can really tell like
And it-
now that I'm a producer like 20 years later, I can tell like I listen to it differently now.
Yeah.
And I can really like tell the difference between this and like other bands that were trying to make everything so crispy, clean, and like,
It also takes a lot of control, a lot of self-control, because as a producer, as you know, you want to keep making it better and better. It's like,
Yeah.
but the mentality that for that whole record was, if I can't do it like this, then I shouldn't do it. And
Yeah.
it's a weird mentality to have, trying to make a record to sell copies,
yeah.
but it worked out for what it was, and it was cool for that.
What
Yeah.
were you like listening to when you were making this album? What were you into musically?
We were all over.
It doesn't
the
have to be
board.
influences, but
Yeah, we were all over the board. We were listened to a lot of different things. I mean, this is the record. I used to love like old, whatever old emo stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
pretty much what we were into at that
Yeah.
point. But like, it was a really wide
Yeah.
range.
This song, I think probably my favorite song on this album is "The Course of a Human Life"
yeah.
or "The Course of Human Life,"
Yeah.
because it just like goes from like, I don't know, you have this way of making things like so pretty, but then completely dark, like
Yeah.
so dark,
Right.
and like the juxtaposition of the both on that song, I think is like the best example of like, the way that you guys do that. you
Yeah.
know?
It was a cool one to, especially for that, like what you're saying. That is like really nice sounding and then haunting.
It goes from like
Yeah.
it could be like a beautiful movie score, then all of a sudden like a scary chase scene.
Yeah.
And that's the one that when Sonny and I were first talking about doing this together, he was like, listen to that song first. And I did, and it made me wonder, you know, that's sort of informed the question about like orchestral arrangement. Like it sounds like you have like whoever's working on this music has like some music theory like in their back.
Zero.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Zero.
Yeah,
You don't
there's
know-
even in that song specifically, we didn't find out until a decade later that I wasn't there, I guess, the day of recording rhythm guitars, but Joe and I were playing in Surge. We're playing three different, like in three different
Keys.
chords at the in
Really?
the chorus, and we're like, I'm like playing it, and we're listening to it as we're like prepping it for a show, present time. And I'm like, what are you guys playing? Like, this is not right. And
This
they're
is-
like,
yeah.
this is what we always played. I'm like, nah. They're like, this is what's on the record. And I re-listened to it because, you know, at the time I didn't like listen to myself. I didn't listen to the record often. And I was like, oh my, how did no one
Which part?
catch
The
this?
chorus?
Yeah.
You're playing three different chords.
Yeah,
That's
it's
so
like
funny.
three
You like
different
didn't
chords.
notice for like 15 years.
Yeah.
That's so
Because
cool.
I didn't like dive back in. I
Yeah.
had to like relearn it. And then I was like, this
One
is
of you
a-
was like, this is a B major 7. The other one's like, no, it's a D7.
yeah, this is, I don't know what this is at this point. This is the
Yeah.
dark we're talking about.
Yeah.
So,
It works.
what would you say your favorite song to play live on this, not acoustic, like full band?
On that record,
Yeah.
let me see the track list real quick.
See what
I
we
would
got
say
here.
like Mountain Range is probably
Yeah.
the most explosive, fun song to play. It's like the end of it just always captures a moment and people, you know,
Respond.
respond. Exactly.
Yeah, I know some of your songs, obviously, like the way you write lyrics, some of them, like, some of the lyrics, like, I'm not going to say they don't mean anything, but they're, like, secondary. And some lyrics, like, are cohesive and, like, make sense. Like, what is that song about? There's a mountain range in my living room. Because, like,
Mountain-
if you read the lyrics, I feel like I can't really tell what the subject is, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the idea of that song is just always making yourself okay. Like, just putting things like the mountain rage in the living room symbolized like just sweeping stuff under the carpet, under the rug,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
just
wow.
like
Is that a
living with
saying,
it.
or that's just, like, what
when you sweep it under the rug.
No,
I think it's like an
the
imagery
mountain range in my
created.
living room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He just created the imagery. That's
Right.
cool.
That is really cool.
I think I was like at the age where Sonny was getting really into your music. I was listening to a lot of like adjacent stuff, and it didn't really occur to me till now. But like, I'm a poet, so obviously a lot of this like lyrical driven music from that era really, really excited me at that age. So it was cool to look through some of the CD booklets and like see the lyrics specifically.
That stuff is old.
Yeah.
Does it make you cringe at all? Is that a weird question?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Really?
Sometimes it
Which
does.
songs would make you cringe from this?
You know, it's hard. I cringe for many different reasons. Just because you grow and you learn. Like, I appreciate everything that I went through
Yeah.
and that my musical journey has went through. But, you know, I also look and be like, I could have handled myself. You always like look back and
Yeah.
reflect, and it's just like how you would live now versus then.
Right.
So I think it's just things like that. And I mean, even like we had a lot of demons with this record because of track 4 or track 5, Baby Blue.
Oh yeah, I was
we
going
had
to
many
talk about that.
Many demons about that.
That's
one,
also
so-
one of my favorite songs, and I didn't even realize that was from that was a reference from the other song.
Wait,
Yeah.
no,
'Cause
I'm
I didn't know the other
curious.
song
Am I
until
allowed to know
recently.
about the demons?
You are. It was a band that I will not mention that
Mm-hmm.
we love. You know, we really looked up to, and it's probably not their fault. Like, everybody has weird decisions that you make.
Yeah.
But at the time, we used a line from a song that like we loved.
Yeah.
And we got clearance from the label. It was like five words.
Yeah.
We got clearance from the label, and then we put the song out like on a video, and it was like, no, you don't have clearance. Then we got sued, and we got a gag order, which I don't think is in effect anymore.
Yeah. But just be
But-
careful.
And
Just
we
be
lost
careful.
like a percentage of the song we had to give
Oh, man.
forever, and
Well, in like in perpetuity.
yeah. So
Well,
we were.
Damn.
I actually noticed when you made Ace Ender's EP acoustic. What was it? Dusting off the old guitar.
Yeah.
I noticed you left those lines out of the
Yes. And I
acoustic
have
version.
never sang them live.
Oh, because the crowd sings it.
The crowd sings it, but
You can't even sing
though
it if you wanted to.
It's sure.
It's respectful.
It works that the crowd does it, but I still wouldn't be able to do it. And like, you know, we've buttoned things up with that other
Yeah.
band since then. So
Yeah.
it's like
Well, I mean, you're like,
time goes.
I don't know how old you are. You're like
I'm old.
late 30s.
He's 40,
40.
remember?
You're 40. Oh yeah, you just turned 40. Sorry, bad podcast host etiquette. But you know, I think anything you look back on when you're 40 at things you were doing in your like early 20s you're gonna have some
I
reconsiderations
don't know.
on it.
I think a lot of people, in the long run, a lot of people are gonna appreciate this, like without a question. Like
yeah.
I still appreciate it. Like I even more now than I did back then, because like I understand like what it takes to make something sound like that.
Right.
And it's like impossible these days
It was-
without to restrain and like to have like all these like
It is.
feedback noises and
Yeah. Chris Baldani is the name of the
Badami.
other Badami.
I wish it was Beldami. Beldani.
I think I'm
gonna call
thinking
him that
about
later.
the pasta I'm gonna have for dinner.
Chris Beldani.
Did he have a background in producing?
Yeah,
and so
he's
you guys
been a
kind
producer for years.
Okay,
so
cool.
we worked with him on our first EP, and that led us to work with him on that one and the following one.
Yeah. Okay. I was curious if you just were both kind of like learning as you went.
No, he's the proest guy
Cool.
you could imagine.
did he work with like a
I
lot
bring
of
him-
bands
bring
that
him
you
down.
heard, or you were just friends with him?
He did the Starting Line EP,
Nice.
and at the time we did our EP. Like we were friends with Starting Line for way back before they were the Starting
Are
Line.
they from New Jersey?
They're from Pennsylvania.
yeah.
okay.
I
So-
was listening to them. I
Yeah.
don't know how I didn't end up listening to you guys.
Yeah, we actually played shows with them when they were called Sunday Drive. We were like, and that's why we named the song Sunday Drive off of the EP.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He's actually Kenny's on Fluxy.
He is, yeah.
So did you write that? I mean, I guess it's the same verse
It's
twice.
the same verse, yeah.
I love that. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, by the way, I was looking at the way that you write songs, like because the lyrics are right here, and some of the songs
I missed that about CDs.
they're just so simple, and you don't realize how simple they are until you just like if you read the Fluxy lyrics,
Yeah.
they're just so short.
So short. I was into
such
that
a great
stuff.
song.
Yeah.
I mean, you heard my music. I'm kind of like doing that too, but I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Like I probably got it from you somehow.
I mean, I was like listening to like Leftover Crack and like Choking Victim and stuff during this time, and like it has like that punk influence.
Me
like,
too, because Choking Victim was one of my favorite bands
Yeah.
as a kid.
Yeah, same. So songs were if it was under a minute and a half, it was punk as fuck. Like,
Right.
and so the shorter the lyrics, that's that influence showing. I feel like,
For sure.
not to be presumptuous.
Yeah. Lately, like on the internet, a lot of people have been like arguing about like what emo is. Like, you know,
Oh, yeah,
you
let's get
obviously
into that.
saw that website. Is this band emo?
Right.
And I think it's funny that people are calling like the emo revival right now, when like really this era was kind of the emo revival,
Sure.
right? Because
Sure.
it's like when did emo happen? Like late
Late
the-
90s.
late or like early like 97 maybe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From like that album that you guys like that you referenced. When did that album come out?
Which album?
I Don't Want to Love You Anymore.
Oh. I like that I like that we're being like I don't know. I think that was a 90 that might have been 99.
Okay, so
98,
it wasn't
99.
that much. So I guess it wasn't really emo revival when this came out. But it's
Yeah,
still
we were
like,
like tail end of phase 1 maybe.
yeah, but people didn't really it didn't get as big. People didn't know about it.
Because it got such a stigma. Like during that time, for us, and I think which helped us now, but hurt us then, was there was a real stigma around emo. I remember receiving our first stickers when we signed to Drive Thru that said like emo band from New Jersey. I was like, oh, we can't put these at the merch table because everybody was like so anti-emo at the time.
Right.
It's like it had its moment, and then it like
I feel like
was
they were
just-
I feel like they were more like anti the word more
Right.
than actually knowing.
It just had
For
this like
sure.
connotation.
yeah.
yeah.
What made it negative?
I don't know
Because it became too much of a scene.
I think because it became a scene.
Yeah.
I think that's probably it. And also, it was really confused at the time because there were bands like the reason why we wanted to make it super raw is like because we wanted to be
didn't
like
want it to
the
be
other
pop
emo
punk.
bands. Yeah, we wanted it to be like sound more like a Jets Brazil record than something
Really produced and really
exactly.
polished.
And then emo sort of took a turn to where it was like emo was the most polished thing. And I mean, even if you look now, like I think it's wonderful what has happened with the genre in terms of like emo night making it a cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are my good friends actually.
Yeah, it's like at first my first response to that was like, I hate this because not only does it like at first I was like, this sort of makes me feel like I can be replaced so easily. And it's like people are much more excited to be there. But then it's like you realize how it revitalized the entire scene. And like I
Absolutely.
became friends with them, as well. And like it's like just such a cool spark that it just put into the whole genre. And now it's like I love doing them. Like
Yeah.
if I get invited to one, I'm like,
Do you
Yeah,
do
I'm
the
going.
Emo Night BK?
yeah.
I'm friends with the Emo Night LA guys.
Oh, okay. Wait, is there beef?
There's division.
There's a little beef.
Let's bring
we
it
don't
together.
have to. We don't have to
Look,
get into
Let's
it.
get bi-coastal.
Here's what it needs to be. There's no beef in emo, man.
But
No beef in emo.
I was
It's all
actually
love.
I was at Coachella on Saturday, and Emo Night LA performed there. They played their set. They played like a bunch of emo songs, but
I
they
heard about that.
they kind of mixed them with they kind of added some dubstep drops to it to make it more like festival like. But they
Yeah.
brought out do you know Foster from Forrest from Hello Goodbye?
Of course.
Yeah, I became friends with him because I was DJing a lot of emo nights and he was always there, and we just became like good friends because we have a bunch of friends in common. And yeah, I was with him on Saturday actually. Really cool guy.
Yeah.
And he played Here in Your Arms.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
The leading MySpace profile song.
Yeah.
I think if we got down to the stats.
Yeah, but it's crazy because like he was singing it and he was on auto-tune, and it feels like the song could still be like it feels like a current song because
Yeah.
it's so like auto-tuned and it felt
Right.
so new. Wasn't Joe in that band for a little bit?
He was. Yeah.
That's cool. Was he always in it or just like a one or two albums?
He was in it for, I know, definitely one album. After we took a break, he joined Hello Goodbye, and then now he manages them.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Oh,
That's
sick.
awesome.
And us as well.
Oh, that's
He
sick,
can't do
too.
stage anymore. He's like,
Oh, he doesn't play the shows with you guys?
no.
You have
No.
Bill now?
Bill also, this is going to be his first time not on stage as well.
Oh, really?
It's like, it's a weird life, number
Yeah.
one. It doesn't, it's
Especially now.
especially now.
Yeah.
So I think I totally respect any decision that anybody has to do for themselves like that. It's, and Bill
of
has
course.
a great situation that he set himself up in, and Joe obviously is crushing it in management world. So and he's still very much part of the team, just behind the scenes.
So does he record with you guys if you guys make new stuff?
He doesn't record because he doesn't like to learn anything on guitar anymore. He's like, I'm done learning
done.
That's
anything.
cool.
on
Knows
guitar.
everything.
He can do
Yeah.
that.
So you have new music coming, you
Uh-huh.
said? And are you guys going to tour to support it?
Yes.
Are
Yes.
do you know when?
I do.
When?
In the fall.
Okay.
Cool.
That's as much as I can
Yeah.
give right now.
Cool.
Full band tour?
Full bands.
Yes. I'm very excited for that.
I know
Mhm.
a lot of like my friends who are on tour right now are like really struggling with COVID stuff, which is kind of a bummer to bring up. But like,
Yeah.
does that freak you out at all? Just because touring is.
Freak me out in sense
mean-
of like I'm afraid that I'm going to get on tour and everything's going to get canceled as soon as
Yeah.
I get there and have to lose a ton of money.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's freaky. It's also freaky to, we did a fall tour, and I'll be honest, like I struggled very much with it just because I'm like, I don't know if I feel right putting people in a room together.
Yeah.
And I think that was the biggest holdup that I had. It wasn't like, oh, am I going to get sick or
Yeah.
something? Like it was more like, I don't know if I feel comfortable doing that. But at the end of the day, I think we got so much response of people being excited and needing it. And it's like, all right,
Yeah.
well, if they're doing the proper things and being responsible as they
Yeah.
should, then everything should be okay.
Yeah. You gotta like trust your audience to.
You do.
Yeah.
And we have a very nice audience, so
Yes. Here he
Yeah.
is.
he's
Here I
a wonderful,
am.
a
Representative.
wonderful guy.
So do you think you're going to upload, there's the video for something that produces results, and that one, I need to see it in full. I need to see it in full HD. Are we going to get that video too on the channel?
Sadly, I'm gonna say probably not.
It's hard. You don't have it?
I mean, we can have it.
Lost to the sands of time.
It was one of them that like
You don't like it so much?
no, because it was like our first like high budget video, and it didn't quite hit the mark of what we wanted it to hit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was like more of like our idea came out sort of wacky
Yeah.
rather than like.
I mean,
coming
I
out-
can't. When I watch it on YouTube, I can't find a high quality version of it, so I don't know like even what you guys wanted it to look like.
Yeah. There was
It felt like a cool like 3D like concept, something happening.
There was, and it was the camera was supposed to like swerve in and out throughout this crowd, and like you'd see everybody's like own individual stories and stuff, but it didn't. It was just like a live performance where we were flat,
Yeah.
so like it didn't really quite hit the mark. But we do have really funny because it was all green screen, just individual shots of us awkwardly playing by ourselves. So
Wow.
we got that.
The behind the scenes
Yeah.
DVD.
That's pretty funny.
That would probably be more interesting to release.
Well, then people could make their own edits if you had the
Oh.
raw green screen.
That could work for now.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
potential
You
there.
could be like, hey guys,
Chroma key
you
this.
guys want the music video? Make it yourself.
Yeah, honestly.
Let's see. Oh, I also wanted to talk about Ever So Sweet.
Okay.
Is it
Let's do
about
it.
weed? Everyone wants to know.
No.
It's not.
I've actually,
And the
you
brownies?
know, do not
He doesn't
smoke.
do
yeah.
I didn't think you did.
Yeah.
But I felt like maybe like the song was about you being high from weed brownies.
I wish. It's about cookies.
normal ass cookies.
So do you consider this a happy song?
Ever So Sweet?
Yeah.
No.
No, right?
Sure.
Sure.
What percentage
happy
of your
now.
songs would you consider?
There's always a bittersweet. I
Yeah.
do everything with a bittersweet vibe. because
bittersweet
it's like
chocolate chip.
it's always like good then bad, but it's like my overall message, and this might be cheesy, but what I've always tried to put out there is like as dark and hard as things get, and that's what I've tried to symbolize in songs. Like as dark as it gets, like there's a light at the end of the tunnel type of a thing. And like I'm glad that it feels like the majority of people have taken that sentiment away from everything, being like, you know, just from what I hear and people tell me, it's a very like, so there's always like a bittersweet to it though. There's always got to be a push and pull for me.
Yeah, I mean, like it's your subject matter. Like even though it sounds a lot like dark, but it's mostly like on the positive side. Like I'm never listening to it and like, oh, I want to kill myself. You know?
Good.
Yeah,
it's-
I was
that's
gonna
good.
ask if that was like, I mean, you were what, like 21 when the okay. Were you ever like afraid? Did it ever scare you to make like music that resonated with like kind of a vulnerable age group? I don't know if that's something you ever thought about.
That's what I wanted. I came from a very weird beginning.
Yeah.
So like my whole thing was trying to identify with people in a situation of where they felt uncertain, or, you know, like, and like I said, like know that you're not alone and that, you know, you can find a way through it. I think that has always been the thing. So even at that young age, I was like, always had the mindset of like, I'm going to at least have the intention to make this, however anybody interprets it is whatever.
Yeah.
But my intention has always been to have that, you know, like do it for, or, you know, create something that can help people through a dark time.
That's awesome.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because now that I realize like your songs, like I was saying before, they get really pretty and then they get really dark and they get really pretty. So it's kind of like, you know, the ins and outs of life.
I think that's like all my favorite art. It has that redemption arc, honestly. Like you've got to leave somebody with like a little bit of hope at the end, at least.
Yeah.
I think, so when I first listened to this album, the one that I listened to the last was like Exchanging 200. So that one always, every time I listen to it, it feels like a new song to me. I think that's a really good song too. It's very similar to the chorus of Human Life. And
vibe-wise, yeah.
there's like this one part where there's like a pause and then there's like a little
organ
jazz
solo.
organ. Oh my God, what is that? Whose idea was that?
That's-
I love that.
We got into the weird sounds. That was Joe. He played that. And it was just like, we wanted to do just like a weird organ thing. It doesn't last very long. It's just
No, it's like
throw it in
it's a
there.
nice little like a break.
Yeah.
And so is the first thing you ever produced for all of this EP? Is that the first thing, like the first music you ever worked on? Or did you work on like other music before you started? Because like it's a great, you know, piece of work, and it's like, is it your first like crack at it?
No, I had done a bunch of stuff prior to that.
Oh, okay.
We did a record before that, and you know, a couple EPs. We were in different bands. I was in a band that was almost got signed to Drive Through before Early November. So that's like sort of how I had, you know,
You had some experience in recording.
right.
So
it was, it was, you know, it wasn't my first thing. It was my first thing with a budget.
yeah.
So.
The first song I ever heard from you guys was Every Night's Another Story. I got the Drive Through Records compilation,
Oh yeah, I had one of those.
Yeah, right. It was. I think that was the one that was in there, right?
It should have been, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
And I heard that song and I was like, "What the fuck is this? This is fucking awesome."
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. I appreciate that.
I feel like during this era, I got exposed to a lot of like new music through video game soundtracks. This is a totally random ass question, but do you know? Was that something you guys ever were considered for? Like, talk to anybody about? I know it's not exactly quite the vibe, but
yeah, at the time our vibe
you're
did
not
not
gonna be in
align
like
with
Crazy
that.
Taxi.
No, no, it didn't make
Well,
much sense
Tony
for us.
Hawk, like
yeah,
Tony
They
Hawk,
had a lot
maybe.
of-
Yeah. But that was more like skate punk.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wasn't quite loud, mean
Yeah.
enough, maybe.
We had too many, nooks and crannies.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Too many dynamics.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Let's see. And you're like fairly new to the internet, right? You haven't really like been posting.
Oh, I love this
No,
question.
I
No.
am. I'm not good at the internet.
No,
I know that shows my age, but I'm just like,
you don't have to be, man.
I have a really hard time reading, so that already puts me like far back. Like, because I'm like anything that I gotta read words on. Not that I don't like to. It's that like I was born with a weird brain, so I can't put letters together. So it's like that always like sets me back from the internet.
Yeah.
And then so yeah, I'm kind of green to it. You could say that.
Okay.
Were you guys like on MySpace back in the day?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the internet at that time?
No, I didn't contribute to the
You were
MySpace.
like, no, that's not me.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
Yeah.
That was
A good thing that you brought up MySpace, actually.
Good,
You
a
guys
segue.
uploaded a full band version of Make It Happen on MySpace. And now I look for it.
You can't find it anywhere.
Can't find it anywhere.
No.
Sonny's just here to settle
I'm like,
personal beef. He's like, where's the song? Where's the video?
Well, here's the thing. Like, we turned 20. We're celebrating our 20th anniversary this year.
Congrats.
So thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. So we're putting together a very nice
So we're gonna hear.
present for everyone.
Little
Okay. I think I saw a little video of you guys recording something on the Instagram.
Yep.
Was it that song? I think it was. It might have been
There
that
was
song.
one of them with that. Yeah, we put together a lot of nice, wonderful things. So
Awesome. I'm very stoked about it. So
That's
I'm
sick.
excited. I think
So
people are gonna dig this.
what's that going to be? It's going to be like a new album, or it's going to be like just like a greatest hits new, whatever.
one. I guess we're gonna find out.
Okay.
It's a surprise.
And-
yeah.
I know this is like a weird like businessy question, but like you're on Rise Records now, and like some of the stuff you wrote is on Drive Thru.
We're actually on Pure Noise now.
Sorry.
Label number
what
3.
did I say? Rise.
Rise, because we
Pure
were on
Noise.
Rise for a while.
Right. You're on Pure Noise now, but
Now Pure Noise.
so how does that work when you make something new with your old
That's a
material?
good question. I don't know.
Well, yes, and this is why we had to anything that we did that was old, we had to re-record
Hmm.
because like we're covering,
Okay, got it.
you know.
So
Whoa.
yeah,
Covering yourself, basically.
like
That's
that.
wild.
yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm excited for that because I remember the Make It Happen full band version like very vividly, but like not really. But I really like the acoustic version.
Yeah, the acoustic version was okay, but I think the full band we were actually recorded it 3 times. We recorded
Oh
it
my
full band
God.
for this record. We recorded it full band for the Mother the Mechanic at the Path record, and then we recorded it another time. So it's one. There it is. Oh man.
He's got it all on
I
deck.
love it. I love it. Yeah, we've done it several times. So
Yeah, that's
it just
insane.
never made it. And you know what? It's one of them that Jeff and I always kick ourselves for because if we put it on The Room's Too Cold, it would have been hands down the single.
Yeah.
It would have been like the song.
And
that
you,
version
and
is
you
great.
didn't want it. You didn't want it to be you didn't want that to be the single.
We already went over that that I'm an idiot. All
Right.
right, that I have a
I
problem.
don't think you're an idiot. I honestly think that all the choices you made were right choices.
At the time they were. We wanted to not be looked at as, pop punk. We wanted to be classic emo, and there just wasn't a really
There wasn't that
there
many
wasn't
other.
space for like that kind of a fun, high energy song.
It's hard to get a single out of a classic emo album.
It's hard too.
You're not
Definitely
Yeah.
is like
getting a lot of
That's
radio.
why Ever So Sweet is the only single off of that record.
really.
Yeah, probably.
There's no music. Oh, is there a music video for
No,
it?
there
No
should have
video.
been. It's very dumb.
Right.
Like I said, like there's so many things I look back on and I'm like, yeah, you could have done this way differently to like this record, for instance.
Mhm.
I love this record. It's great, but there's 3 records.
This one, I'm
And
gonna be honest with you. I
the-
do love this record, and I love all the songs when I listen to it. But I don't know the songs in and out because there's so many,
There's so many.
and
How
there's
many
different
tracks?
renditions of them too, right?
There's like 11 on 2 of the records, and then there's a full dialogue record.
Oh,
That's
my
like dialogue and weird acting. It didn't come
Skits,
out
yeah.
the right way, but that was meant to tie together the other 2 albums. So each album at time reflects what's happening in the main story, but just through song.
Wow.
I was in a place.
It's
Let's just say
high
that.
concept.
It is.
Yeah.
And you know what? The one thing that I'll hang my hat on forever is that, at least to my knowledge, I don't think anyone else on a major release has
No.
ever done something like
No
that.
way.
So
Yeah.
that was my shot. That was our like super budget everything. And I was like, we could take the path of least resistance and make a straight up pop
Commercially
emo.
viable.
Yeah, that was the plan.
Yeah.
To like hit that next level. But I was like, nah, I'm gonna make a triple disc concept album where the 2 records with music tie into the 3rd record with dialogue and they match up. Insane.
And what
Cool.
did the label say?
It's cool.
It's cool.
They were cool with it. We had to work on some contractual things, but they were cool with it. And it's like, when it came out, it was just a lot to digest.
I mean, yeah. There are definitely some songs that stick out to me on this album. Like, I really liked "A Little More Time."
Right.
That
was
one's
a cool
like-
one.
But that was with the chorus, the '90s radio songs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the one.
Great song. And "Little Black Heart." It kind of reminds me of that Beatles song, "Blackbird."
Yeah.
Is that-
I love Blackbirds.
Is that like
favorite.
a reference, or you weren't thinking that?
No, I wasn't thinking that at the time.
But
But
I was listening to it like recently, and I thought it really like same vibe.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you said that because I didn't start listening to the Beatles until like a few years ago.
I still
I
don't
was
listen to them.
So yeah,
I just know that song. I know like
Yeah.
3 songs, but I love that song by the Beatles.
yeah. I mean, I think for me it was like everyone says that they're the greatest of all time forever as a kid. So I'm like, I can't listen to
Yeah,
it.
you're like,
Right.
nope.
No,
I think I'm
I'm
the
like-
same way.
But now I listen to the Beatles. Like I love the Beatles. Like
You can just, like,
everything
appreciate-
it's phenomenal. And you think of it, what they did over the course of their career and the time that they had,
Yeah.
and for how long that they were actually a band. It's like,
Like 9 years, not even.
yeah, there's something messed up about what happened there. Like,
Yeah.
how are you?
Like,
that
no
good?
wonder people thought they were like selling their souls to Satan.
Yeah,
honestly.
like they probably did. Like,
Yeah.
how else could you do that?
I mean, like, I think any amount of time in the music industry for a long time will, fuck you up.
Yeah.
It's just such a crazy industry.
Is there any other music that you've gotten into in recent years that you had just like never?
Country.
Yeah. Oh no, not country
I
specifically.
mean, come
but
on,
yeah.
man, country.
Well,
New
I
Jersey?
reckon. Well, I reckon.
Any other music? Like, you're not talking genre specific. You're talking
yeah, just
like
anything
just
that you're like into now.
Drop
that
a name,
maybe
drop
would
an artist
surprise
that you like, maybe.
drop an artist that I like. Like I'm a very I mean, I have different phases at all times.
Yeah.
So like I was in a really weird dark place, I would say, for the past 2 years almost.
Mhm.
I don't want to say like not in every area of life.
Yeah.
Maybe just business and music and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
like what my own worth is as an adult at this point in time. And I remember just being like fully just checked out, and it just really depressed, weird place.
Yeah.
And this artist, which you might know, you might not, he's crushing it right now. But it's a record. It's like a pop record. Sam Fender is the dude's name.
Never
And
heard of
like that one song, the first track, like I remember hearing it for the first time. It's nothing like insane,
it. Yeah.
but just something about it, like that record, I will credit it to like fully pull me out and like put me back into music.
What's it called? Do you know?
17 Going Under.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll check
And
it out.
it's
look
real
that
dope. Like I think it's like I said, it's nothing that's gonna change. It's not like
It's not going to change the world.
No, but
yeah,
it's wild
but
how
it's-
that happened.
But it's just awesome. I think like lyrically, like the stories and everything, like it just, to me, it's like I appreciate that record so much. It's
I think
awesome.
like it always surprises me when I'm in like a dark place what music resonates with me the most and like gets me out of it.
sometimes it could be like the craziest thing. Like I'll listen to like like what's that famous like Disney song like
Frozen.
Let it go.
a dream a dream is a wish your heart makes. Like
Oh,
I hear like a
yeah.
creepy version of that or like a vibey version, and I'm like, I think my life just changed.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Like
Every year on my like Spotify Wrapped, there's one song up there, and I'm like, oh, I just remembered the day I was so depressed that I listened to this one song by The Weeknd on repeat 68 times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey.
I found Phoebe Bridgers when I was like really depressed.
Oh God, that's dangerous.
And she became my favorite singer songwriter ever, and
that's
her stuff is so
amazing.
good.
She's so good.
that's
Yeah.
that's amazing. That's what music
It
is
definitely
for.
helped me though.
Yeah.
Even though like when I'm sad, I need more sad to make me feel better.
Yeah,
Right.
well, it's like goes back to what you talked about. Seeing your feelings represented in music makes you feel less alone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw her play live at Coachella on Friday.
I'm going to
It was insane.
I'm going to some festival I've never heard of before in LA in August, and it's like her, The Strokes, LCD Sound System, and my friend Lily's band La 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 La. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Oh yeah. And you're coming to town May 19th. Well, I guess you live not far, but you're playing a show in
Where at?
Brooklyn, right?
In Brooklyn.
Yeah, we should
what?
I
go.
don't know where.
At Brooklyn Steel, Babies.
It's I don't know where it is.
I forgot where it is.
I forget where it is too, but it should be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
It
gonna
should be
go.
fun. I wanted to do like an acoustic run in like very small rooms and make
Cool.
it really like intimate. And I think like it's just like I was craving that type of vibe because I love rocking. I love like sweating, but I also love when I get to just sit there and tell stories and like connect in a different way.
I mean, your
So,
music has that feel. Like your acoustic songs, they can all stand on their own as a full, you know. Even do you play a lot of the? I mean, obviously you probably play the electric ones, acoustic versions of them.
definitely.
But do you tend to play more of the acoustic songs because you're doing an acoustic show?
No, I think I do a lot of interaction.
And you
Like,
also do
so-
songs from like every
Everything. So
every
when
project.
people yell, I try and like
take
it-
requests?
even if I don't remember it, like I'll try.
Right.
And if I make a fool of myself, I think people appreciate that. I'm like, I have to warn you. Look, I'm gonna say the wrong words. I'm gonna
Right.
forget. I'm gonna forget stuff, and you just got to deal with that.
I mean, like definitely on this album, there's some songs that you just can't play. Like "Course of Human Life," you can't play that acoustic, can
it
you?
would be bad. Yeah.
Have you ever played
I
that
have,
acoustic?
yeah.
Wow.
It wouldn't work.
I was even thinking thinking like this is probably hard to play live, and then I looked and I saw some videos and it sounded really tight live. I saw a bunch of videos of you guys playing in Australia, I think in 2012.
Mm.
Someone recorded the set like perfectly.
Yeah, it was
It's
a
on
really nice
YouTube.
recording.
Oh my god, every song on there sounds so good.
Did y'all tour internationally a lot? Have y'all?
Hmm.
Where's like your favorite city you've been played?
Favorite city?
Is it hard to choose?
It's really hard to choose. It's I think I have different favorite cities for different reasons, but
Yeah.
like we put the Grows Rock Festival in Belgium was one of my favorites ever because my wife was with me at the time on that tour,
Cool.
and like we were in like Europe. It was awesome. Like we had the kids stayed with my mother-in-law, and it was just like we
Yeah.
had like a magical day walking
Yeah.
around the
Belgium.
city. Yeah, and then like played this festival that just was wildly attended and amazing.
Cool.
And they all
And it
knew
was
your
like-
songs in Europe too.
You know, I didn't think that anybody was going to. It was like one of the scariest sets ever because 10 minutes before, it's like festivals are weird like that.
Yeah.
You know, 10 minutes before I walk out on the stage just
Nobody.
to like give a look, no one. And I walk back into the trailer. I'm like, this is going to be bad.
I don't
I'm
know,
just
guys.
counting down time. I'm like, we don't belong here at this punk fest. They're going to hate us. It's like, nobody's going to be here. And then by the time I walked on stage, the tech handed me the guitar. It was like, the place was packed and
Nice.
it was
They were just waiting
Awesome.
for the Less Than Jake set to finish.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about festivals too.
Yeah, you just drift over.
You just drift, and it's like,
What other bands
Awesome.
played at that festival that if you can remember? Any, do you know?
yeah, Melancholy.
Okay,
That was really exciting for
Nice.
me.
I like them a lot.
Yeah.
I found them on LimeWire.
I found
Sorry,
them on
Melancholy.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
LimeWire.
They have
Those
that
were the
song
days.
days.
No
Remember
Cigar.
those days.
Yeah.
from Tony Hawk. Yeah,
Man, gotta love the T-Hawk days. But
yeah. I still play I mean, I haven't played in like 2 weeks, but
You're on a sabbatical?
yeah. I mean, I went to California and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I play Tony Hawk. You can play it live now.
What is
Wow.
that?
So
Like
I-
against other
I
people?
play against other people, and there's no talking to each other. Like if you win, you're just like, and then
did
you
it.
keep playing.
Yeah.
Like no one knows.
Yeah.
But it's cool because they have the 1 and 2 remade on Switch.
That's awesome.
So it's like,
so you can play it on the go. You could
very-
have been playing it at Coachella.
yeah, I could have brought it to Coachella.
Should have.
Yeah.
Should have. I guess we can wrap up. I think we got a pretty solid.
Yeah, unless there's anything specific that you want to
Yeah. Anything you want to
get
give a
into
shout
that we
out?
didn't ask.
That I want to get into?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm in. I feel like I got in.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much for being
Sweet.
here.
Yeah.
Thank
Glad
you.
to be here.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you very
All
much. I
right.
appreciate it.
Do people usually like say something at the end?
We
If you
can-
got anything you want to plug,
we
like
can do
social
some-
media or anything?
Follow me on Instagram. No, I'm joking. Yeah, you already follow me.
I mean, y'all have an Instagram.
Yeah. What
is
is
it just
your
at the early November?
Yeah.
All
At
right.
the early November.
at Ace
And
Enders?
Ace Enders, yeah.
Yeah, and
Hell
come
yeah.
to some shows.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for
Yeah.
putting that in there.
I'll
Come to some
invoice you.
shows, you know?
I'm really excited for the show. Honestly.
Come to some shows.
I don't think I've ever been to an acoustic one. I've been to a bunch of the full band shows, but
Yeah, I
I'm
want to go
stoked.
to the Brooklyn one.
so
I
come
want
with
to
me.
go.
We're going.
It's
All
going
right.
to be a nice time.
Cool.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
Thanks for coming.
Sweet.
Bye.
Absolutely.
If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting.